Today is Sunday, February 22nd, 2026, 4:10 p.m. 4:10 p.m. And I labeled this with black males, the black male athletes' mental health. I think that's what I named it. I always have trouble with my title sometimes. And I woke up, this morning and I saw that another young athlete passed away. Rondell Moore plays for the Minnesota Vikings. He spent a little time with the Atlanta Falcons also. And when I was listening to him and they said the young brother took his own life, it made me think about another young brother, Marshawn Kneeling, who played for the Dallas Cowboys, who took his life last year. And I also have, if you see my thumbnail, I have Marshawn Kneeling, Rondell Moore, and I have James Pierce Jr., who was an athlete for the Atlanta Falcons. And though he has not, he's still very much alive. What I want to talk about is not only just the black male's mental state, but black men's mental state altogether. And I think it's a combination and a cocktail of things. I don't think it's just like one specific thing. And if that one specific thing would be, it would be this system. It would be how we are experiencing this system as black males, right? But I think it's a combination of things. And when James Pierce Jr. had his crash out, literally, when he had his crash out, I was listening to several athletes, Asante Samuels being one. And I was having a conversation with one of my brothers this morning, and we were saying, like, and he was saying something to the liking of, like, a lot of brothers' issues stem from dealing with today's women. And that's subjective. I think there's something there. Remember, I said there's a combination, there's a cocktail that's going on. I don't think it's one thing. And if that one thing would be something, it would be this system, right? And when I look at the state of that good brother Marshawn Kneeling, and they were saying that he was still having trouble grieving the loss of his mother. And definitely yesterday was my mom's birthday. And I celebrated my mom's birthday yesterday, and she's been gone away for 6 years now. And I remember I was attempting to have this conversation with a friend of mine when I was saying black men don't have a space to talk or to express themselves. And she kind of collectively made it like something that it wasn't, right? I'm not gonna go all around that cherry tree. And even in that moment, that was a prime example because a black man is trying to express the mental state. Sure, you're never gonna get 100% of everything, right? You're never gonna get 100% of black women that behave this way, black men that behave this way, black children. So when you say black people, we're talking about us as a collective, even though we know individuals have a different tune, right? And when I thought about that young brother, Marshawn Kneeling, who was 24 or 25 years old, right? And financially successful, everything that today's society women would say they want, it's always something missing, right? And I kind of hate today's society in a sense because of how we're conditioned. I think black males are conditioned. Now, you can have your own mind, but I think most of us are programmed by something or somebody that's in this system, right? And when you listen to today's junk, and when you listen to today's people, I'm going somewhere with this. We don't even know how to love on each other. We don't know how to call and check on each other collectively, right? I know that there's certain ones. I have a few homeboys that will hit me up like, yo, bro, I ain't want nothing. But when I'm talking about a collective, because we're still stuck in survival mode, right? So everybody is always trying to escape something. And sometimes I remember going through the loss of my mom, and sometimes I would just need people just to call me and just listen. But then in this cocktail, you have people that are matter of fact that don't know that don't experience what you experience, because we're all experiencing as Black people, we're all experiencing America or this system the same but different. Does that make sense? Right? So sometimes, remember I said, you have to understand what a person is going through. A lot of times we suffer in silence. A lot of times Black males aren't going to speak for how we go through, because, and I can remember looking sometimes last year. That's why I had to get off of apps like TikTok, because apps like TikTok is so toxic, and it's a mental insane asylum, because everybody's chasing a bag, everybody's chasing something. So you have a bunch of people that are emotionally void or emotionally numb trying to give out information, right? Nobody's really healing, but everybody is intellectualizing healing, right? And I can remember when it came to Black males mental health month, and the amount of females, Black females, that was like, I don't give a fuck about a man's emotion, because they're in a hurting state. So this is us, how we feel like we got to do. Somebody hurt me, so I hurt back. Don't trust nobody. Don't do all this. So we say all of this emotionally numb, void, dead stuff. And the first thing they'll say is, I don't give a fuck about a man's mental health. Because nobody talks enough about how these females listen to loser females. Anybody that follow me and listen to me, I'll talk about the loser males. I'll talk about the Kevin Samuel sexuals. I'll talk about these loser red pills, but nobody talks enough about these loser ass females that give out loser information to loser chicks. That's just looking for a rich man to take away all their burdens, right? I'm going somewhere with this. So what you end up seeing, in my opinion, you end up seeing the Black male is just a paycheck, as a ticket. Nobody really cares about their emotional state. And right, remember, sidebar, when I say nobody, I'm not saying nobody per se, but collectively, because how the world is trained to see you. Right? I'm sure Marshawn Nealon had a family that loved him. I'm sure Rondell Moore had family that loved him. I'm sure James Pierce Jr. has family that love him. But when we are people that are broken, and I'm not matter of fact in this toward the brothers that are deceased, but a lot of times when I'm saying you're sought as a provider, and if you're an athlete, a lot of times people will omit or overlook your mental health or your mental issues, because what you can mean to a football team, or what you can mean to help their financial situation in the future. So you end up not paying attention to this young man that just simply needs help. Does that mean I'm saying James Pierce Jr. can play Grand Theft Auto in real life? Of course not. But this still is a young man. I think he's 21, 22. Correct me if I'm wrong. So he's still developing, he's still shaping, and he's still seeing the world, right? But along with that, we have this general analysis of what we're supposed to be, what a man's supposed to be. A man is supposed to be a provider. I got so tired of that one goddamn word, provider and narcissist. A man got to be a provider. A man got to be a provider. A man got to be a provider. And then when you hear the females, the loser females, in their rhetoric, they'll be like, why are you even sleeping? You shouldn't be sleeping. You should be up working. You should be up working so I can have the lifestyle that I need to. And in this, where does a Black man find peace? And if you quote unquote broke, you don't even have a chance So even though there might be classism, there might be financial brackets, we're all going through the same thing as black men, right? We're all going through the same thing. And let me play something for you. This is one of the biggest loser chicks out here. Hang on 1 second. Okay. 1 second. Let me get this plugged up. It's not playing for some reason. Hang on. Let me restart it. Just hang tight with me. Because when I talk about social media influencers, we got to really understand the power of that word. We have to really understand the power of that word influencer. Okay. All right, let me see now. It's not doing for whatever reason, but let me do it like, and I'll just play it for you like this. The girls are fine. If I ever become a widow, I'm never remarrying again. How long was I married for? 20 years. The girls are fine. They're healed. They're good. We're moving forward. And part of the reason why they can heal and move forward is because I didn't tell everybody when it happened. I just let people do all their talking and trolling and all this kind of stuff. But at that time, those things were happening to us, and so we just really didn't talk about it because crazy people on the internet. Yeah, I'm a widow now. He was older, much older. We had a big age gap relationship. But we were married for 20 years. He was a provider. I never had to pay no bills. He was a good guy. He will be missed. Sprinkle, sprinkle. And I said that on every line. And I hope he was able to hear that. I'm so disappointed that it wouldn't play on my larger speaker. I hope he was able to hear that. Right? I hope he was able to hear that. And that is this Shira 7 chick. Right? And I had a few female acquaintances that talk about her. Right? So we have to understand the poison in the cookie of how these bullshit mindsets are spread. Be it for us as males with the red pill, or be it for the ladies with shit like that. Now, this young lady, and I'll call her that, lost her husband. And she said this was her husband for X amount of years. Notice how she talked about it. He was a good guy. He was a provider. He will be missed. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Right? And when you listen to her and the information and that she's giving females, this is why this is a component of why, because nobody is actually trying to love on nobody. Nobody's actually trying to love on nobody. We lack understanding the most when it comes to each other. But yet, when it comes to the white boy or the white girl, we'll find all this understanding, right? So the thing that has been kicked out now is just to find a provider, find a man that can provide for you. And I remember listening to one of them clip. What if he's a good guy? And she was like, And I'm paraphrasing on that. I could be wrong. And she was like, that don't pay no bills. Loyal, that's what it was. What if he's a loyal guy? That don't pay no bills. You can't pay no bills with loyal. And who knew? I remember I'm an 80s, 90s guy. And who knew when Destiny Child came out with bills, 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 that would be a precursor to the future of how majority of these chicks think. Can you pay my bills? Can you pay my automobiles? Can you pay my telephone bill? Then maybe we can chill. I don't think you do, so me and you are through. That if he don't even have a financial status, we don't even give a fuck about him. So wrap that around to the mental state of most of these black athletes. Number one, the world slides them by, right? Because they got a skill and they can entertain and they can put these young brothers, or how I think it's hard for them to compartmentalize and deal with emotion. And when I was listening to people like Asante Samuel, they kept making it like, and I think he was saying something like STF, sexually transmitted feelings. And yes, like I said earlier in my video, these things are a cocktail, but I think we have to treat these brothers as brothers and not just athletes. What do you mean to my franchise? What do you mean to a woman's bank account financially? Can you provide and help? And see the man inside of them. See the young man that needs love. And these same rules go for women, but we're not talking about women right now. I think that to CD, and then there was a rapper named Little Papa that he just unalived himself. So what is happening that we're seeing a lot of these young, financially stable black males unalive themselves or just crash out in James Pierce Jr. Case because they're not understanding how to process and deal with their mental. They're not understanding how to process and deal properly with their mental because they've always got to perform. They always got to provide. They always got to do that. And that's really the thing of black males all together, or black men all together, that, social media has hit harder than certain substances, right? It's hit harder than certain substances that we're not even looked at as human. And it's really sad. And I wish that we wouldn't like put ourselves. I wish that we could understand like a balance, right? Because I understand not letting people emotionally drain you and people coming to you and trauma dumping and dumping their problems on you. But when you know somebody's in a fragile mental state, how do we? Maybe I'm asking a question here. How do we learn to help black males? Don't make it about something selfish, honestly, because for you that look at this video, whether you're male or female, you're gonna have sons. If you're a lady that watched my video, you're gonna have a daughter. You have daughters. So we have to see bigger than just ourselves. Because we have this thing that also stops us from healing, that when people are trying to talk, they say, well, you ain't the only one going through something. I mean, I went through this, and we start to make what somebody's going through personal and make it about us. Sure, I like sports. I like basketball, like boxing, like sports. But we have to understand that these are somebody's sons, right? And the more we hear this poisonous stuff that sprinkle, sprinkle, get you a man with some money, sprinkle, sprinkle. Who cares if he don't have the best character? So now it's back to what I'm saying about in James Pierce Jr.'s situation. You omit certain bad behaviors. You omit certain things because somebody telling you character don't pay no bills. Being good don't pay no bills. And brothers hear that. They hear that as a turnoff, and they hear that as also as a destination. Pretty much like I was writing, and I was talking about how good guys are losers, and I don't mean that in like the sense of the way you might think I mean it, but I mean because think about how we condition brothers. We tell them so much that nice guys finish where. And I think this is just my opinion. I think that we have so many wannabe guys that are trying to be something that they're not emotional. Every guy wanna feel like he an alpha. Oh, I'm an alpha. I don't want to be no simp. I don't want to, and we don't understand we're poisoning the well of the future. Who are you deep down? Who are you outside of a football player? Who are you outside of a basketball player? Who are you as an everyday black man? Who are you as a father? Who are you as the guy that just get up and go to work and drive the buses? And then when we hear celebrities, because this is why I really don't like celebrities, right? Because they aspire or make people aspire to something like B. Simone when she just straight up shit on 9 to 5 guys. And she's really like annoying. She's pretty and cute, but she's really like annoying. But we have so many of these attitudes, much like the red pill, but we have so much of these attitudes that they're like, yo, a man that just worked hard enough, a man that just got a job, he ain't good enough. Oh, a man that just got good character, oh, he ain't good enough. Why? Because it comes down to your a black man's value is in what can he do for you. And we're not understanding. We're not understanding. So I just wanted to talk about this for a minute. But my heart goes out to Rondale Moore's family. Brother's 25 years old. He ain't even begun to live life. What was he going through so much that he felt like that was the way out? Y'all got to hear what I'm saying. And because of propaganda and that propaganda machine, and because we constantly hearing the most negative things about black males, it desensitizes us, and we don't even think about it. Like, what was that young man? What was Marshawn Kneeling going through so much that he took that way out? Had everything at his feet, had the world at his feet, and it shows you things are bigger than money, y'all. Yes, money is important. Get you some paper. Get you some money. I'm not going to never tell nobody that. Money is extremely important, but it's not everything. It's not everything. And we are so conditioned to this goddamn American way that that's all we care about. Some superficial stuff. But to the black males that watch this video, and if you can, comment. If you made it this far, comment. How often are you just giving a genuine hug? How often are you just told that you're important? How often that you are told that you just matter? And if you do, that's wonderful. But if you made it this far, answer in my comments. As a black man, how much have you been told these things? We got a lot of stuff to deal with. That's why I advocate mental health. Go to therapy, fellas. I hate the stigma that my people have of therapists for crazy. We're all freaking crazy because we've been raised in America, which is an insane asylum. So we all are crazy in one way or another. But you matter. You matter, black man. You matter, young black man. You matter. Remember that. Peace.